starting a brand new project. And you guys are like, what? We just finished one. Yes, we did. We are going to step away from 3-yard quilts for just a moment, and we are going to jump into the Patchwork Duffle bag by Knot and Thread. What happened was Vera Bradley dropped her bag and the world went crazy. And I was like, I know that pattern. I was like, I've seen that pattern a gazillion times before Vera Bradley. It's 100% from Sterling & Co. And she just jacked it, which sometimes happens when your stuff is awesome. So we are going to make our own version. First things first, we need to make a bunch of blocks. And so again, I'm using the Sterling & Company version. I think that she has the best dimensions. It is the best looking, and y'all know I am a Disney girl, and that head just looks the best proportionately. A lot of people tried to knock it off and they didn't get the same results. Hers is a clear winner. So we're going to use that. I've picked out my colors. My bag is going to be a little more me, masculine, and a little more girly, which is also me. So it's going to be double-sided. These are the colors that I've chosen to go with. I have no idea why, but I was hanging out in the art gallery section at Sewing Art. So these are actually art gallery fabrics, which is not usually my thing, but it's my thing today. I know Carolina Moore will be proud because she swears by art gallery. Many people do. All art gallery fabrics. I don't know the colors, but y'all get it. Blue, red. Y'all know. Y'all see what I'm doing here. So the first thing I did was I made a list. One says Mickey, one says Minnie. She has 2 variations of these heads. We're going to make the heads that finish at, I think, 9-inch blocks. They finish at 9. I put the face here, the background here. I put face, background, and bow for the Minnie, and I'm going to just start cutting it up according to the directions for these colorways. I'm going to repeat some colors in some places, but that is all by design in my mind, so we'll see how these lay out, how they come together. But this shouldn't take long because this is not a difficult block to cut. I'm going to grab the directions and I'm going to get started. So now that I have cut out all my pieces, and they are all labeled with my favorite little pins that are really expensive for no reason, so only buy those on sale, but they're good to have. Be careful when you are pulling your colors. Remember which one is the face part and which one is your background piece. Otherwise, you might get a little bit confused, like I just did. I pulled all the black, and I was like, why are you pulling all the black? Because I'm mixing all the colors. I got a little confused, and I don't want you to do that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a diagonal angle. If you have diagonal seam tape, you don't need to worry about this. I have diagonal seam tape, but it is not on a table, so it's kind of a short little distance. So sometimes I like to draw it just to be on the safe side. Do that for all of your squares. And I'm going to put them in the corner, and we're going to do my favorite technique. Oh, I love a flip and stitch. I just love it, love it, love it. All the squares are going to go in the corners, big ones at the bottom, little ones at the top, just like this. And we're going to sew from here to here, and from here to here. We're going to make some like diagonal, like curtains when you're drawing curtains. Stitch if I can use it, and that's because it's got that frosted little 1/4-inch spot right there that lets us know where to cut or where to lay that line. So I am placing it on the line that I've just sewn, and I'm going to cut with courage and cut away that outside triangle. I'm leaving a 1/4-inch seam. Even for these little baby ones. Yes, the little baby ones. Now we're going to press these. To press it, we are just going to press it back per the instructions. All of them are getting pressed backward. Oh, jeez. There we go. And I've got my little cutie patootie ironing board here. It's by Sarasota Sews in Florida. Give her a call. She can indeed send these to you, even though they're not on the website. Okay. Ooh, now that that is all done, oh, it's so hot. We are going to add our side units. I'm going to grab our side units here. And we're going to sew them to both sides and then press it. Now that we have assembled the sides, those need to be pressed outward also. So I'm just going to hit it and press it. If you've never seen red fabric, when you hit it with the iron, it gets darker. And then once it cools, it goes back to the color that it's supposed to be. I'll never forget the first time I saw that happen and wasn't expecting it. I just knew I had scorched my fabric. Okay, now we have this, and we're going to move on to the next blocks. Now more in flipping stitching coming. You're going to grab your B blocks and you're going to grab all your E's, and your E's are going to go on the top in each corner. And then you want these to be the opposite. So then your F blocks are going to go in opposite corners. And you're going to sew all of these diagonally like we did before. Okay, let's bring this together. We've got our right ear. No, that's our left ear. Is that our left ear? I don't know. Yes, left ear, right ear, background, headpiece. Too cute. I'm going to sew these two together and then sew them to the ears. Now that whole unit has been sewn together, we are going to sew this unit to this unit. Then we're going to attach our outside borders. Right sides together. Oh, I press these seams right here this way, and I press this seam outward. Now this little guy has been sewn. I press this seam here open, open, open. Now I'm going to put these on the sides. These are your eye pieces, and then after the eye pieces get sewn on, your J pieces get sewn on, and that makes your little mouse block so cute. I think this is such a cutie patootie. One down, so many more to go. But I'm going to show you the girl block too, because she comes together just a little bit differently. For the face portion, it's pretty much identical. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. All these little guys are going to go in the corner, and then after that, we will sew these onto the sides. Nothing has changed with this. Now we are going to do our ear pieces that look a little different than the other ear pieces. For this one, we're going to put these on the outside corners. These are your J pieces that are going on top of your B as in boy pieces. And then these guys are going down here on the bottom. The little guys are at the bottom. And we're going to sew from this side to this side, from this side to this side, like your little curtains. Remember your curtains? All right. Now we have our face, and we have our two ears. We need to work on our bow unit. So I'm going to grab the bow pieces, and these pieces were just pressed backward, flipped and stitched the same way that we did the other stuff. It's nothing new. Now I grab my my bow pieces and my background, and these are your, I think they are your F as in Frank and your J pieces. And we are going to sew these like this. Now make sure that this square is on the inside of your other square. That is something that's a little different. This one's going on this side. Now that we have done that, we're going to cut away the inside of this. I'm right-handed, so I'm just going to rotate that piece around. And press these back. After all that, you may be tempted to sew these together like this. Don't do that. We are going to put a little piece here and this little guy here. That is your G, your little G and your I piece. Then after that, you're going to grab your two H's and your two E pieces. Oh, we're working small. And you're going to put them in here on the inside. And sew from the inside in. Now you grab your H and your E pieces, and you place those little E pieces on the inside of your H piece. Now with these tiny pieces, I've sewn right here. You can't see it because it's black on black, but I've sewn right there. And I'm just going to cut away the inside this time. Same thing with this side. I'm going to flip that around. And I'm going to cut away. Can't see that black on that black. There we go. This. And now we're going to press back once again. Now we're grabbing our little bitty D piece, and we are sewing on both sides, just like that. Now we are gonna sew this to this to this. It's gonna be one cute little set, and then I'm gonna press this outward. Now that I've sewn those together, it's time to put the ears together. Oh, how cute. We've got a little bow there. Ears are going to go in, then I'm going to press them outward. Now we've got our little ear piece all done, and we're going to right sides together and sew that together. Then the same thing like we did on the other one, short sides first, then the top and the bottom for the borders. Now let's talk about where we are in the process. So I have pieced all of the Mickey heads and the Minnie Mouse heads, two totally different colorways for each side of the bag. Now this is going to be the lining for the bag, and I've decided that I'm going to use this Disney Treats fabric that I got from Joann's. I love it. I used it to do a pillow before, and I think it's just super duper 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 cute. So this in itself could be an idea for a bag. I was just telling my manager that this bag is full of concepts, like a ton of them, and I put them all together, but by itself could be so cute. So like a Disney Treats bag could be super duper cute. This is what the bag looks like so far. I pieced the heads. All the heads are pieced and sewn together. There's nothing special about that. If I were doing this again, I would have laid this out and omitted this bottom piece right here. Not the bottom piece there. I think you need some separation between the heads in order for this to come together and look nice and cute. But this bottom one right here, I would have gotten rid of that on both sides. I added in a 4-inch strip between the two because of the dimensions that this needs to be cut down. I thought this bottom strip was going to be bigger. I thought it was going to be a larger one. Really, I'm not sure how much of this is going to get cut off. I'm thinking about probably right here. Will probably be cut off, maybe. I don't know. We'll see when we finish this bag up. I'm not sure, but I know that I would have omitted that bottom strip. And here is the other side. So I made the pattern just as it says. I pieced it all together. I've sewn them together just like normal. And then I added a strip in between to connect the two. You can see that they are facing each other, so that when the bag closes, it's right side up, not so you don't have any upside down characters. When we close this bag like this, one side will be right side up, the other side will be right side up, okay? Nothing too interesting about that. Where we get another like fifth concept is the side panels, the side pockets. So I added this denim in because denim felt right. And I thought, well, this will be cute, right? So this is what the side pocket is going to look like. And this is what my other side pocket is going to look like. But I decided there's a little bit of the panel, the side of the bag that you can see. And I've actually decided that we're going to use this fabric to peekaboo on the top. Lots of concepts, guys. This is a lot happening, but this is a true Matt Cox style project with just a lot. You know, we're going to throw as much at it as we can, but I think it's going to come together cute. I'm thinking this is going to be a cute concept if we do it right. So I'm going to use soft and stable instead of batting. I'm going to go grab my soft and stable, cut it down to size, and then quilt all of this. I am going to quilt this. I am going to quilt this, and then I'm going to quilt the two side panels that I haven't cut just yet. And then we're going to go from there. I could have used this fabric as opposed to the treat fabric, but that's just not fun, right? It's just not fun. So we are going to use this, the denim, to bind. It's going to be all of my binding. Yep, it's going to be all the binding. I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the binding for everything. First things first, quilt this. Be back. I just got my stuff back from the quilter, and she did an amazing job as usual. This side is all quilted with Minnie Mouse heads, which I'm obsessed with. And it is quilted with baby pink thread. This side is quilted all with Mickey's. She's amazing. So there's that. We did this in a few different sections. So these are going to be the sides of the bag. And it is quilted with both Mickey and Minnie heads. And then this guy here, which is which it's the pockets, right? The side pockets. But look, she put a Mickey Mouse head and a Minnie Mouse head in there. She's got two little shoes, two bows up here. I mean, the most thoughtful quilter ever. I tell people all the time, if you have a quilter like mine, when she says she's got an idea, or you just tell her, like, I just let her cook. I just let her cook sometimes. She went around the bow. Just so cool. She went around Mickey. Just done excellent. I am very, very pleased with this. Now to cut everything out to size and get ready to assembling. For the bindings on the pockets and for the binding, the zipper binding, I am just going to do straight of grain. But for the inside binding, I'm going to go on ahead and put that on a bias. People always find bias binding tricky, and low-key, really, you could just cut a big square and then cut it at an angle, or you can do a continuous binding, which is what I think I'm going to do today. I don't always do it, but today I am. So some strange things have happened, things that I anticipated but did not expect it to go so differently. Make this strip in the center larger. So I made it 4 inches. I would suggest making it 5.5 inches because this sucker shrunk down, or my math is off. Either one, very possible. This is the length that it should be. It is 1.5 inches exactly shorter, which makes me think it was probably my math or something. I've decided to rely heavily on the fact that this is a forgiving pattern. So we're going to see how forgiving it really is and if this works out. If not, I've got an idea on what to do with the side panels, which would just be making them slightly smaller to make them fit. But I'll figure out if it's going to fit when I pin them on. Now I have an option here. There is about 1 inch right here, and that I don't need. I only need it to be about 1/4 of an inch so that you don't lose my girl or my boy's heads, right? So I'm debating if I want to just trim this down about to leave 1/4, maybe I'd leave a half right here and 1/2 inch on either side and get rid of 1 inch because it would shrink the bag in, but I don't know that that's going to make that much of a difference. I don't know that this is a big bag. I don't know what this is going to look like once I start assembling it. And I don't know that this inch on the side or taking 1 inch off is really going to be that big of a deal. This bag is supposed to finish right here. It's literally 7 inches larger. So at this point, I don't know. I don't know if it's that big of a deal to take off just 1/2 of an inch. So then I would make it 1 inch smaller. I don't know that that's worth doing. So what I think I'm going to do is just leave it like it is and move on from there. I don't think that 1 inch is really going to do much. So the next things that I'm going to do are, I've cut some binding, including bias binding. I don't know what happened to my bias binding skills, but they went a little wonky. I mean, I know that this is bias, it's super stretchy, but it did not work out the way I thought it was. So whatever. Bias binding, regular binding, straight of grain. I'm going to take the shorter one and fold it in half and sew it to the side. I'm going to sew it to the front and pull it to the back just because that's the cleanest way for me. The other way would just make me have to fold it to the front, and then you have to top stitch all extra pretty. Yeah, no, I'm just going to sew this to the front, pull it to the back, and stitch in the ditch. That's the plan. We shall see how that works out. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So that's just for this front pocket piece, just for that piece right there. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the sides. I am going to sew to the front, fold it in half, sew to the front, pull it to the back, and top stitch down the side in the ditch. Okay. Bindings were sewn onto the front, folded to the back, stitched in the ditch. On the big panel too. Now I place the pocket on top of the side of the bag, and I've gone around it with 1/8 on the sides just to hold it in place. Now I've grabbed all of my hardware. Again, we are showcasing this beautiful Tula Pink Sallie Tomato collaboration, and it's got these beautiful metallic pulls and bobbles and things. So for this, you could use those triangle sides, and I get it. And if you are a Bianni bag maker, there's a way to attach the webbing on the inside of these so that you're actually pulling from the side of the bag, which is probably a bit more sturdy. And I thought about doing that, but I'm not 100% sure I have enough webbing, and I didn't feel like doing it. It's definitely more work, but you would put your ring through the fabric, you would do some measurements, and it would sit right here, and that would be what your bag is attached to. I've seen some people hack the duffel bag. I thought about it. I'm not in the mood to do that. We're going to keep it nice and simple. I'm going to grab my knot and thread webbing here. This is 5 yards. She has these 5-yard ones, which is perfect for your bag. So I'm just going to cut these down to size. As soon as I find the edge. Where are you, edge? Okay, is there an edge? Yeah, I'm going to cut these down to size. And then I'm going to fold them in half. The webbing has been cut down to size, these small little pieces. I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it in that hole, fold it in half. And then I'm going to sew 1/8 on both sides of this. And I think I'm going to go across here too, and then back down, just so that this doesn't move back and forth. We're just going to keep it nice and taut there. So I'm going to go up, over, and down, and across the bottom. Bottom really isn't necessary because it's going to get caught in the seam, but over, up, and down for sure. On the underside of this, your seam side, you are going to mark what it tells you to mark. Now that we have it marked, with the right side up and the right side up of your slider. So if you've got that curved slider, you're going to make sure that the right side is up. You're going to go in through opening through this side. I'm just going up and then down. Not that big of a deal. I'm going up, then I'm going down. Struggling. There we go. Up, then down. Nice and simple. And then I'm going to pull this up to right here and move that a bit. So we pull it back this way, and I'm going to match it up, and then I'm going to sew a square, and then I'm going to put an X in the middle of it. Super simple, nothing to fret there. My X has been sewn, and I keep a lighter around for these straps that are decorative. So I will just, after I finish cutting something, I just give it a little seal to make sure it does not come unraveled. So like I said, the X has been sewn. Now that we have our buckle sewn over here and on there, this right here is our back side. With our pretty side up, just like this, we're going to slide on our first slider. This slider needs to be able to move easily. So that one's on. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go in. So this right here is the underside that I have up right now. So wrong side, seam side up. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go down. And through there. Seam side. Then I'm going to go through my next swiveler and this way and sew it into place. So this is cool. Carrying strap all done. I thought it was going to be a little short, but now that I look at it, it looks like it'll be fine. Even with my ginormous bag, I think I haven't altered the inches of this at all. Now I need to go carry sew the strap onto the bag innards. So it is time for me to lay the strapping on the actual duffel bag to make up the duffel bag, right? I have burned these ends, but I could fold it over, but then, you know, I've got batting plus very hard webbing doubled up. That's a lot. So one thing that I do like to do on my Biani bags is just create a little pocket to kind of slip these ends into. So I'm going to cut a piece of fabric to 3.5 by 2.5. And then I'm going to sew the ends together. And I'm going to create like a little pocket just to finish it. Just a little finishing pocket. You'll see. 1 second. I'm going to take the long side and just fold it over by about 1/4 of an inch and then press it really quickly. And then I'll do the same thing to the other side. Nothing super formal about this. I am just guessing. You can, of course, make it exact if you want, but I'm just giving it a little something just so that it's a finished edge. So hot. Now I'm going to put the two short ends together, right sides together, just like this. And sew right here. Just sew those edges. Perfect. Now I'm going to pull this open like this and open these up. Open these seams up right here. Just smooth them out. And then I'm going to turn it right side out. Perfect. And then I'm going to stick the end of this guy right in here. We're just going to stick it in about halfway through, and then I'm going to stick the other end the same. And that way I don't have anything raw, and I know it's not going to come apart. This is going to go on the bottom of the bag. Nobody's going to see it. Sometimes I do this for the buckle too. If you look at some of my Biani bag tutorials, my ultimate travel bag, same thing. So I'm just going to run my hand down, and then I'm going to stick this side and the other side and just make them meet in the center. And that way we have it's finished. Now the instructions have a lovely diagram about where to place these handles, you know, how far in and that kind of thing. And I'm going to politely ignore them. And I'm going to do my own thing here. And I am going to try to cover, oh shoot, I'm going to try to cover, I forgot that's not stitched in place. This intersection right here, I'm going to try to drop it right there. And to help me keep this in place, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I remember doing that before, and I had some good luck with it. So I am going to use some double-sided tape and place this in between the two and try to cover that up so you won't see how beautifully they come together right there, but we're going to be okay with that. And try to drop it right there between the two so that you can fully see all my guys and my girls. That's the plan. And I'm going to try to roughly center this. Oh, crap. I keep pulling this. I keep forgetting. But that's what's about to happen. I have sewn this down with about 1/8 of an inch. I like this webbing because you can stay right in between the edge and these little, it's got like a border for you to sew in so you don't mess up the colorway. Cool. I used the V technique instead of the X because that's what they suggest, and why not? Plus, I'm going to attempt to add these little rivets or caps, I don't know, that you get from Cam Snaps. I just happened to have them and remembered and thought they would be a really cute addition to them. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to add them. The best place to probably add it would be up here, but I'm going to go ahead and add it at the tip, like it's pointing down to it on all of them. So to do that, I'm just going to grab an awl, and I'm going to make a little hole right here, if it will let me. Oh, it's through there already. Okay, all hole made. Then I'm going to stick this little guy in here. And hopefully it's deep enough, because I don't think these are the long backs, but I think it'll be deep enough for it to go through. And then I'm going to clamp it into place. That's the plan. So to do this, like I said, I'm just taking one of the backs of the snaps. Is this a snap? This is the male part of a snap. And I'm just going to stick it in here until I feel it pop into place. I'm going to take my awl, which is just a super pointy thing that makes really nice holes, and I'm going to put it at the tip where I sewed, and I am just going to grind it on in there. I'm just twisting and turning it till it pokes through. It is very pointy. And once I feel like I get it about 3/4 of the way in there, that's about the size of the hole that I want. I don't need it bigger than that. I stick in Mr. Mickey Mouse and make sure that he is right side up as best as I can. And I feel the tip in the back. If you have anything any thicker than this, it will not work. This is barely thick enough, but it's not a long post. I don't know that they have these in long post either. So these are the engraved Mickey heads. So then I just take it and I feel my way in here. If it's any deeper than this too, it's probably not going to work because of the reach of this. And of course it fell out, so I'm going to have to put it back in that hole. So now I have my little cutie patooties on. And I guess now it's time to work on that zipper, which I believe is put on super duper simple, like just put it on and sew it. So let me find my zipper and cut it down to size. This is brand new zipper tape straight out the box, and so I'm just kind of measuring it to make sure that I have some nice overhang here. And I am going to cut it. This is nylon, even though it looks metallic. So it will cut with a little swipe of that there. And I will continue to utilize the rest of this with my other projects. So to install this zipper, I am going to have to sew on this binding, which makes me sad because I did such a great job of stitching in the ditch and it's undetectable. But they want me to do 2 stitches, one here, and then I can put the other one in the ditch, I guess. But I need to leave about 1/8 visible for the zipper to go to and from, you know, so it can go without hitting the binding. I'm putting these big, beautiful zipper pulls on this zipper. So for my zippers, it's a brand new piece of tape for the most part. I mean, it is. So I'm just gonna stick this in here, and we are going to pull it down till it gets stuck and engages. Then we're just going to open it. It should open nice and easy, but it doesn't want to. It's being mean to me. Why are you stopping right there? Okay. All right, so we got you on there. That's one. I swear zippers do not get funky until you just, oh. So that was butt first. This one here is going to be nose first. And it needs to be separated for nose first. And you're just going to put those in there, make sure it matches up. Engage. And then there we've got it. We've got our double slide prepped. Oh, I love these. They're so cute. Okay, now I'm going to add some tape to this so that we can just stick it. I've got some Wonder Tape here, which washes away. After your first wash. But it will keep that zipper tape in the right spot while we sew it. And it won't gum up your needle. I'm just pressing it into that fabric really well. Now to sew it on, all I'm going to do is leave about 1/8 of an inch and press this in here and here all the way down. Then I'm going to stitch in the ditch, and I'm going to stitch on this beautiful binding. Oh, I hate to mess up this binding. I just did such a good job of not messing it up, you know? You know? So we're going to go grab some hot pink and some red thread, I think. Doesn't that sound lovely? Hot pink and red thread. Oh, there's hot pink right there. And a red. Nice and next to each other. These are my connecting threads. Love them. So I've got the zipper on side A. It looks okay. You know, I just hate that I feel like I ruined it. I do not love this top stitch. And I can see that the zipper here is a little further away than down here, you know, that kind of stuff. Ugh. Oh, ugh. But it's okay. So now I've got to pull this one and do the same thing and close up this tube. I'm gonna make sure I line it up good and close up this tube so that they end in the same place. See, they're not even, I gotta wiggle some stuff. Gotta do some wiggling here. But I'm gonna pull that tape and tape it down, and then we should be good. We should be just fine. So lastly, I am going to round these corners, add the binding, add the tabs, add the panels, and then this back will be done. So to round these corners, you should just push this up into, it meets the top and the side. And we are going to just take our rotary cutter and just round it. I've got a 2.5 inch circle here, and that's what I use to round my corners. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And do the same thing with the bottom and then the other panel. Look at my little shoes over here. They're so cute. I'm going to lose a little bit of them, but you'll still get the gist. There's a little shoe over here. This is one of those end panels and all the binding that I have left. And now I'm going to take it, flip it over, and we are going to bind this the same way that we would bind a quilt or any other rounded bag kind of thing. This binding looks terrible and it's not great, but it will do the trick. There we go. I don't know why my binding was weird this time, but I'm going to leave a nice tail and I'm going to start probably like right here, and then I'm just going to sew it all the way around, and then I'm going to stop right there and join the ends the same way that I would do a quilt. I'm cutting off this little piece here. Then we're going to lay this over it. The same, whatever the width of the binding is, that's the amount that you lay it over. And I like to shave off just a bit to make sure it's a nice tight binding. So I do a little less. And I'm just going to cut that off. Flatten out. This one goes over and crosses it. Like that. And then we sew that diagonal. And we're good. So I've sewn my diagonal so it was out like this, and I crumpled it all up and I sewed that diagonal. And now I'm not going to be really fussy about this. This is the inside of a bag. I do not usually show my binding on the inside of a bag. I'm going to open this puppy up and just smooth it out with my finger. I'm not going to press it, although I'm sure most of you would press this. I'm just smoothing it out, and then I'm just going to fold it over, and then I'm going to finish sewing it down. Now I'm getting ready to work with this side here and attach my little tabby thingies. They're so hard. I'm wondering if I should have left them not sewn here, but you get what you get. I am going to shave off the excess. So I'm pulling out the bottom and just doing a little manipulation to make sure I'm not cutting the bottom fabric too. There we go. And I'm just going to cut both these sides to make them even. This is a nylon zipper, so no need to fret. And now I'm going to grab one of these guys and just attach it a lot. When I say I'm about to attach it a lot, I'm going to go back and forth and back some more. And I'm doing it at 1/8 now, and then I'll bite into it when I bind the rest of it with a deeper bite. But 1/8, I'm just going to go back and forth, back stitching quite a bit, trying to make this as strong as possible. So now I have folded this in quarters, folded it in half, folded it again, and marked it with some pins. I've done the same thing here. I didn't mark this because center is going to be where that zipper is. Now I'm getting ready to turn this inside out carefully, because whenever there are pins, I poke myself for sure. I'm going to turn this inside out. I could have done this a number of ways, but whatever. And then I'm going to line them up and get ready to start clipping with Wonder Clips all around the sides. And we're going to see how forgiving this pattern really is. Okay. That was easy. Inside out part easy. We got to make sure that this is where we want, make sure it's right sides up, but I guess we know that because the zipper is the top, and you know, the top is the top where the pocket is opening. And I am going to start pinning this all around, clipping it all around to see if I can get it to fit. Well, I'm pleased. This has come out pretty good. It looks like it's going to work. I'm going to sew, believe it or not, I'm going to sew with the bag on the, sewing machine, and I'm going to go over this line that I have already done with the, with putting this binding on. I'm going to follow that, maybe stay just to the left of it to try to grab. Actually, I know I am. I'm going to take a more voluptuous bite into this way. So we're about to do it. Now I'm sewing on an HD9, which can handle this in its sleep. It's not even a big deal. My Janome M7 can handle this bag too. It's not going to be a big deal for it. If it can get under the needle, it can sew it, which is why I love my machine so much. All right, wish me luck. You know, she said that this pattern was forgiving, and it looks like it is. I'm very, very, very pleased with how this lined up. I can see that it's, you know, I'm going to have to ease in a little bit in some areas, but I think we've got action. Hopefully the other side will be as pleasant as this one was to clip into place while I'm listening to A Couture. So that worked out pretty good. It is all secured. It's in there. I've caught the that little tabby thing in there really well. I think we're ready to pull it over to the front and start clipping again so that we can sew it down. And with that, we'll sew with this on the bottom, and then we will be pulling it through the sewing machine, you know, like this, like you would do your quilt. I think we'll be fine. So this is what it looks like. It is far from perfect. I wish it all had landed right here on the inside, but it didn't. Some of it hit the binding, but it will work for the inside of a bag. I've stuck my hand in to make sure that I haven't sewn anything that I wasn't supposed to sew. It all feels pretty good. I don't want to turn it inside out until I put the other side on, and then I'll make sure that I have caught, you know, the pockets and there's nothing in there that looks crazy or anything like that. All right, now for the other side, which is going to be the Minnie Mouse one. Making sure the top is over here near the zipper, because there's nothing that I would hate to have to do more than to undo or pick this. So wish me luck that it all fits the same way the other side did. It should in theory, but we will see. I just finished sewing on the binding, and again, it will work. It is not perfect, but it will do. Now it's time to birth the bag, as we say. Let's birth the bag, turn it inside out, make sure that, see how these pockets look. That's the scary part. Did the pockets get caught enough? Because my bag is so big, it's very, very, I shouldn't say very, very easy, but it's easy to Flip inside out. Let's make sure this got caught. It did, which is where the bag will hang. That looks good. It's in there securely. Let's take a look at this. Okay, I'm gonna burn this because this is probably just looks like a bunch of nonsense at this point. But I'm gonna push these corners and everything out and check to make sure it looks good, and trim off the threads and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll be back. So I birthed it, found out that I had not missed a hole, but one of the pieces of fabric, because I did not sew around the whole thing with that 1/8, had gotten flipped backward. Had I sewn around it with that 1/8 of all the pieces, I wouldn't have had that issue. So make sure you do that. Don't omit that, because that's what can happen. But I think this bag looks absolutely amazing. It's huge. So hers is supposed to finish at, I think it's 20 inches. Mine finishes at a whopping 26. It is big, but why is it so cute? All right, really, I don't have any more tips or tricks or anything like that I didn't share along the way. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth giving this a shot. It can be done with using Sterling & Co.'s pattern without altering the sizes. Everything worked out just fine, actually. Just fine. This might be my new favorite bag of ever. Like, this might be my new favorite make, guys. The strap is on there. Everything looks cohesive. These little guys right here are just the icing on the cake. I am very, very pleased. And now on to my next project. All right, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.